Hello, Keystone families, and welcome to another virtual field trip with the Keystone School. Today's virtual field trip is the Great Pocono Raceway Airshow. This is something that's held at the Pocono Raceway in Long Pond, Pennsylvania, also known as the Tricky Triangle if you're familiar with NASCAR. And they hold several events here at this raceway, and this is one of them. At this particular air show, this is 2023, they had five performances there. The first was by the F-22 fighter jet, and that's one that's used specifically for um, air combat, and it's an F-22 Raptor. And this one, folks, this one gets really close to you. You can feel the vibrations in your chest. So if it's something that you're really interested in, this photo here is literally what you can see as it's flying. It gets that close to you, um, and it's an awesome sight to see. The next performers is what it does gets into some of the smaller airplanes. So we had the Vampire Air Show. That's the plane here that has the double tails in the upper right hand corner. And then it goes to Rob Holland Ultimate Air Show. That's the lower left corner. That's a checkered black, white, and red airplane. And then there's also the Rick Volkner Air Show, and that's the pink plane. Um, and all those are single engine planes, and really they're really fun to watch. They do quite really interesting maneuvers, stalls in midair, and they're spiraling toward the ground, and then they start their engine back up and they take off. And then the whole show ends with, of course, the Blue Angels. The Blue Angels you see in the upper left corner there, they're the blue and yellow planes. And of course, the Blue Angels, probably something everybody has heard of. Even if you've never gone to an air show before, you've heard of the Blue Angels. Typically, they're flying these jets at extreme speeds, and really the Blue Angels are a show that perform across the U.S. Obviously make appearances at sporting events, things like that as well. um, so it was really something interesting to see. One thing about this particular air show is you weren't able to see any of these planes up close because they all took off from a local airport in the Scranton Wilkes-Barre area airport and flew into um, into the raceway area. Um, so you weren't able to actually see the planes parked there or anything, but you're able to see them fly. They did have other um, aircraft and helicopters and things that kids can see, and other things for kids to enjoy other than just watching the air show too. But that was one thing. It would have been kind of neat to be able to see these jets and planes up close. Um, all air shows are a little bit different. It probably depends on where they're being held. If you go to a major airport, probably they're taking off and landing there. Here, this one was at a raceway. The one plane, the pink one actually, they actually do a performance and they actually land on the back stretch of the racetrack and then take off again. So the smaller planes are able to do that, but obviously the jets would not be able to. Um, but it was really interesting um, to to watch these performances and also just feel how powerful these jets are and the dedication that these pilots and the trust they put into one another also, especially when we get into the Blue Angels. So we'll look at some of these videos from the performance. And so this first one here, this is the entrance of the Blue Angels. So this is like the culmination of the whole air show. You see all these jets just flying straight in at you from the stands. And it's something that's just, they're playing music and everything. It really gets your adrenaline going. And you see the four planes take off up, and then they have the two lower ones that split off. And so with the Blue Angels, there's always something going on. Um, with the other planes are kind of out of sight and back in and doing something. With the Blue Angels, it's, you see these four doing something, and then when they're out of sight, the other two are doing something. So there you can see this flew right over top of us. Um, and really you can feel the rumble of the jets. So here they are coming across the front straightaway here, and you can see those four in formation. It's really neat to see, and again, amazing to see how close they are to one another. So this one was pretty neat too. Where they're actually flying upside down and pass over one another. And again, they're like if someone was standing between there, you'd probably touch the other jet if you were standing on top of the lower one. It's that close. So here's one that was kind of neat, has all of them together. One of their final flybys, and then they just do this straight up climb, and as they're thrusting and going up, you just feel it from all of those jets, the thrust from them, and they go all the way up and over, and do a complete um, flip in the air, complete circle, and it was just really neat. Again, how close they are, and how disciplined they are in their maneuvers and trusting one another. Um, and then they just all take off in different directions. That was kind of neat to see as well. And this last one, you get the four of them in formation, just kind of doing barrel rolls and going. It's just kind of a neat picture that was toward the end. So those four are flying off back toward the airport, and then the other two come in from the sides and join them. The last video here, I wanted to share a little bit about just a little bit of the single engine airplane. So this is one I was telling you about, like a stall, like they went up all the way up and then they come down, and they uh, come down. And this is the one that he comes down and he actually touches down on the back stretch here, as I mentioned earlier, and then he takes right back up off and does some barrel rolls and that. So it's really neat to watch them. So the single engine planes, they're not as loud or as fast, but they're really just as interesting to watch and see what they do in their performances. So if you ever find yourself, you know, in an area of an air show, I highly recommend you attend one. Maybe it's something you could check out this spring or this summer. Um, it's nice to see these warm weather as winter is coming to an end here. So it's kind of something to look forward to. So if you've never been to an air show, check it out where one may be in your area, and maybe you'll get to go. Thank you, and enjoy. Hope you enjoyed this virtual field trip, and join us next time on another one.